I love butter chicken, Zoe. It's such a great way to cook chicken. It gives it a lovely flavour, lots of colour, and of course you get to put some of my favourite ingredients at the end, where it gets its name from, but we'll get to that later. Now, to start with, Zoe, I've got some garlic here and some ginger, and what I'd like you to do is grate it nice and fine, and we'll put that through later on. Now, I've got some lovely chicken, some free-range chicken, and I've got some thighs, and I'm going to cut them in sort of large pieces. I want big chunky pieces. I like to pick them up with my fork and chew it all. Now, into my bowl here to marinate it, I've got a little bit of garam masala. There's about a teaspoon of that. I've got a little bit of cumin and coriander, a little bit of that that's been lightly toasted, and I've got some chilli powder. If you want, you can use paprika. For myself, I like the chilli powder. I love the colour it gives.
And that combination of flavours works so well. I mean, this always seems to be the base of pretty much all Indian curries, the garam masala, the spices, just delicious. What
I do is marinate this. Of course, I would let this sit in the fridge. I'd cling film the top of it with Glad wrap. I'd put it in the fridge overnight, or at least for an hour, to get those flavours in there. I'm also going to put a little bit of pepper in there as well. But, you know, we've got to cook this today because we're hungry. Now, how's the onion? I've got you to do this job because it's really smelly and messy. There we go. Now, in my pan here, I've got it on a low heat. I'm going to turn it up a little bit and add a little bit of olive oil. Now, the pan's not really hot, so what I'm going to do is put in my curry leaves to start with, and you hear them sort of popping a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Now, to that, I'm going to add some of the chilli powder. There we go.
Now, how's that on the onion front?
Oh, that's perfect. I couldn't do it to you anymore. Let you do the rest of it. I've got some turmeric in there as well, about a teaspoon of the turmeric, and about a teaspoon and a half of coriander, some garam masala, about a teaspoon of that, and a little bit of cardamom, ground cardamom here.
Lovely.
About a quarter of a teaspoon because it's quite strong. A couple of cloves in there as well. And what I do is just sort of stir it around and sweat it off.
Oh, that flavour is... I can smell it. It's really beautiful.
We're getting heaps of flavour into that. That's what I like. Now, I've got some bay leaves from my tree, and I'll throw these in there as well. Now, if you can bring across that garlic and ginger...
Sure.
Oh, you can smell this. This is going to go through the entire kitchen. And everyone in the street will be coming around to your place for a bite to eat. You can see that starting to sizzle off nicely. There is a bit of heat in that now. If you can pass me that chicken there, Zoe, I'm going to throw that in now. This is the chicken that's been marinating for at least an hour in the fridge. In it goes. We're going to brown that off nicely. Now, Zoe, you can see that some of the spices are starting to stick to the bottom there. That's quite normal. That's why I don't have it up flat out. What you want to do is just with a wooden spoon, just scrape it off the bottom. There we go. And all those flavours are caramelising as well, so it's gorgeous, really delicious. That's what you want, and all those flavours go all the way up through it. What we're going to do is put some tomato passata up there, which is the base of this. You know, the tomatoes will make it nice and red and give it lots of flavour. So we pop this in here, stir it around, give it a little bit of a stir, make sure we clean off all those spices to get them into the sauce and get it simmering away. Now, all these flavours will come together, but they won't come together that well unless I put my favourite ingredient, the salt. I'll pop the lid on here and let it simmer for about 15 minutes, turn it down nice and low, and this will be ready. Now we're going to make your curry. Now, while your naughty butter chicken is cooking, I'm going to do a really healthy, mild chicken curry. I'd love you to start with dicing the onion and the garlic for me, and I've also got some tomatoes, which is going to add that big, beautiful flavour. Now, what I'm going to start with is I'm going to use coconut oil. I love the flavour of the coconut oil in a curry like this, but also it's a very stable fat. You know, we can get up to really high temperatures. And, you know, it's good for you as well. So I'm going to pop a tablespoon into my pan, which I've already been heating. Now, I love to use the chicken thighs as well, but I thought, you know, we'd make it a little bit different, and I'm actually going to use my chicken breast. We're using the whole chicken. I've used the thighs, you've used the breast, so there's not much left of it except a few bones. A couple of wings and a couple of legs. And so I'm just going to cut this into strips just while my coconut oil is heating up. Yeah, this is such a simple meal to make. You can actually find now really good quality products in the supermarket. Do you want the onion and garlic straight in? That'd be wonderful. I can do that for you. I like the coconut smell. It's got a really sort of tropical smell, isn't it? Yeah, well, I mean, it's that lovely Asian smell to it, which is obviously what we're going through here. Now, you can see very quickly this has already started to become translucent, and you can really smell that coconut now. It's absolutely delicious. OK, so I'm using my curry powder. This is, you know, got the cumin, the coriander, the turmeric, so it's big flavours. Already ready to go. Instead of all my spices that I put in there, you got it in one tin.
Already ready to go. So I'm going to pop a good tablespoon, maybe even a little fraction more. I've got some marjoram, dried marjoram as well.
And I do like to add a little bit of spice. I mean, cayenne pepper is a great way to add a bit of spice without it being too high on the, the hot level as well. You can see that the flavours are infusing with the onion and we're just caramelising and heating through those spices. And can you smell that?
That's great. Fantastic.
Really, really good flavours, good smell. So I'm going to pop my chicken breast into here.
Now, is this enough tomato for you? Do you
Yeah,
think?
that's perfect. So about 1 to 2 cups is great. And keep the juice of the tomato. I mean, some people like to take the seeds out because it has a little bit of a bitter flavour, but I think it works really nicely.
I love the juice. I love the seeds. I think it's got all the flavour in it.
Now, I've got my salt-reduced chicken stock in here. I like to make my own chicken stock. It's just such an easy thing to do. You know, those leftover chicken bones, throw them in with some water, some herbs, and it's as simple as that. I am going to add a little bit of salt because I like to control the volume of salt going into my food. So a little bit of sea salt. I'm going to give that a mix through. It's going to take about 10 minutes, pop the lid on, and then I can serve this all up together. This has been simmering for about 10 to 15 minutes and it's perfect, but I know yours is creamy, so I want to do a creamy slant as well. So what I've got is I've got some yoghurt and I've got some rice flour. Now, the rice flour stops the yoghurt from splitting and just thickens it up that little bit as well, so it will compete with your butter and your and all those
I don't think it will. But, I mean, if you don't want butter and cream, sure, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
And I would normally have yoghurt with just about any Indian feast that I would have. If it's not in the mixing it through, I'd have it as a lassi, which I love.
Oh, I love lassies.
Yep.
And I've got some raisins, so that will just kind of sweeten up this a little bit as well. I'm going to mix this through.
That looks great.
Really, really delicious. All right, I might just let those raisins soften a little bit and let's do yours.
Oh, there we go. Over to mine.
Over to yours.
Look at that. It's nice, deep, rich red colour. Give it a stir. Now, this is the best part.
I can see it.
This is where this dish gets its name. And what I've got is a couple of lovely pieces of butter here that I'll put into there. 1, 2, 3. And this will help to give it a round, creamy, smooth flavour. Some sugar, because a butter chicken is always a little bit sweet, and that comes directly from sugar. I've got 1/4 cup here. And I think I'll just add about 3-4 tablespoons to it, just to make it nice and sweet. Stir that in, and just as I'm about to serve it, if you can pass me that cream there.
It was so innocent until all these things were added.
There we go. But this is what makes it. This is a rich dish. This is a full, creamy dish with lots of flavour in it. And you know, it's sort of cheating when you're adding this stuff because you know it's going to be tasty. You know it's going to be good. And I just stir in the butter till it sort of incorporates. It also gives it a great shine. And I pour in a nice amount of cream, about 1/4 cup. You'll see it sort of lightens up the actual sauce a little bit. I'll stir that in for the last little bit.
That classic sort of butter chicken colour comes out that way.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. I normally see this in a little plastic container sitting with my rice, but this will be fed.
It always makes me a bit nervous because it's an iridescent orange. So I like to see that this is more of that is natural colours coming out.
That's what it is. But can you pass me that bowl and the spoon over there, Zoe, and I'll plate this up for you. There we go, that spoon there.
Sorry, excuse me.
Perfect, there we go. And I've got my lovely chicken. I'm just going to put this in the bowl with plenty of sauce. I'd like to have this with roti bread or with some rice or some chapatis or some puris. There we go. Lots of chicken in there, lots of smooth, creamy sauce. It looks fantastic. Oh,
While you're here, I'm going to start plating mine up. The raisins would have softened really beautifully. The creaminess from the yoghurt. I also like that bitterness that comes out in the yoghurt.
I can see, it looks fantastic. It smells great. It's a different type of dish, but it's perfect. Same chicken, same tomato, but it's going to be very, very different, I think.
All right. Now I can see you've got your white, high GI, fluffy rice.
With just a little bit of turmeric in it to make it nice and light. Now, let me have a taste of yours. I'll taste the sauce first, because that's where most of the flavour is. Delicious.
Really good? All right.
Really, really nice. I like that. And I'll try the actual chicken.
Chicken is cooked to perfection. Not too spicy for me. That's definitely like an everyday kind of curry you can have.
Perfect. The meat's still very moist.
Yep.
You haven't overcooked the breast, which is one thing that a lot of people do. They overcook it, it becomes very tough and stringy. That's still very moist, and that's how I like my chicken breast.
And the key to that is to keep that on a low temperature. You know, don't cook it quickly. Cook it slowly for a short period of time.
Yeah, have a taste of this sauce first. Look at that. Oh, perfect. Oh.
I mean, it's got the big butter chicken flavour. You know, very rich, sweet, salty. You know, the right balance of spice. But for me, it's a sometimes chicken dish to have. And this is an all-the-time chicken curry dish to have.
Sometimes every Sunday night for me.